Hello everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin McClendon and welcome into my studio. And I have something fun planned today for sure, I think. I've been just kind of toying around with the idea of making my own rice paper. I'm actually working on some production ideas for rice paper and washi tape, kind of like, a la Robin McClendon. And so I have this idea to get some rice paper, or in this case, this is like 𝐏𝐻𝐒. Rice paper is just kind of like a generic name for actually Japanese papers that are either 𝐏𝐻𝐒, 𝐏𝐻𝐿, or Mitsumatsu. Those are the three plants that traditionally are used to make the paper. Now, unlike with wood pulp, with Japanese and Asian papers, the branches are harvested and then processed to make the paper. And so the trees are never cut. The bushes are never cut. They just harvest the branches and then, they grow back the next season. And that's why you see the long fibers in them. See those beautiful long fibers? Those are the fibers of those plants, and that's what it makes very strong paper. So though it's very thin, like you can see my hand right through it, it's a very strong paper. And so a lot of times when you see papers that are printed on, they have images and stuff on them. Sometimes they're called rice papers. People do them, and you can purchase them. They're using one of these traditional type of papers to do them. So I got this online, good old Amazon, and I think there are quite a lot in here. I think there were maybe 50 sheets. For sure, definitely more than 20, maybe 25, but I think there was 50. And so this one is mulberry paper, and it's an A4 size, so it's approximately, let's see, it's a little over 8 inches by 11 3/4, or around 21 centimeters by approximately 30 centimeters. So it's a nice size sheet. And I've been wanting to use these as I'm working a lot on my paintings and my collages and what have you. And I really like a lot of my marks on them, of course. And I'm striving to find thinner and thinner layers to work on. So similarly, you can use tea paper. And I love tea paper. But what I love about this paper is the fibers in them. I just love that. So when you lay it down, not only are you getting the image, but you're going to get some really cool fibers. So I already kind of started playing around with some of them. And this is an example of printed. So it's a very thin layer of paint down there, my champagne. And then I pulled these marks, and these were done with the Posca. This is me cleaning up the plate. This is one I pulled using my brush strokes, and really love that. And you can see it's nice and thin. So when you go to work with this paper, you really are going to be able to get some nice thin layers. So I thought, let's play around and do some mark making on mulberry paper, or, the idea of rice paper. So what I like to do when I do mark making, where I want to transfer, either Posca, some sort of acrylic but with a background down. I'll use the champagne. Also will use one of the golds. It just gives, the champagne is really nice. I also like this by 𝐈𝐍𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐿, which is by 𝐏𝐻𝐎𝐿. And this one is highlight red, but I like these really kind of heavy-bodied metallics. Just my preference, but you could use a white. You could use any sort of maybe a neutral kind of background. So let's start off with some mark making. So I'm going to just use my brush I have a little 𝐍𝐄𝐕 ink and some paint. I've got a 𝐍𝐄𝐕 paint mixture in here I like to work with. But you could just do some fluid acrylics. You could even water them down just a little bit, you know, or not so much water them, but using a binder, you know, a binder that will thin it out some. Well, let me see. Let's do, I'm going to use a little bit of my scripting, but I'm going to just kind of do small sections. So I would kind of create a paper like this. For those of you who have my my art foamies in the scripting, you could stamp your plate at this point with them using the paint for sure. Okay, so let's do that. So this is still going, that paint is still going to be wet. And then I just kind of get a waste sheet. You want to put a waste sheet over it so you can really press down and rub it, but you don't want to get paint on your hands. And if you just try to rub on the back of it, you'll smear it on the paper itself. So we don't want that either. So just have your waste sheet ready. But we can do this with fluid acrylics. You can do this with the Posca pen. I'll show you some with that. But yeah. I'm using just a very thin color. You could even use a matte medium because I want to be able to see through it. But you could use a heavier weight paint. You don't always have to see through it, you know. But look at this. Is this not good? So right off, we have this really cool, you can see the little bit of the color there on the page. You can see the differentiate. You can also, once these are dry, I would stain them. And then the paint that's on them really pops and it gives it even a more vintage kind of look. But that's good. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for right there to use in my work. So what'll happen is you'll have a, that layer will be down there. So if, what I like to, I try to work clean every time. So I just put a little bit more paint down and then just use like copier paper or some other waste paper. But I'm telling you, you're going to pull some good pulls. So still use a paper that, you know, that you would stain or do something with. So I'm going to get a piece of copier paper and you can use the sketch paper. I pulled some with this. I just don't have a lot left. I've just ordered some. So you can use this paper to pull this second layer and you get a really nice result. I have it here somewhere. This was the second ghost print that I pulled on the on this rice paper, and it made a really nice print. So be ready to kind of play around with your papers because you're going to want, in between pulls, in order to clean your plate, you're going to want a stronger weight paper. So just have some copier paper, whatever, ready. And it'll clean the plate so that, you know, we get, see how we get some of that off. And this one is just kind of a background piece, but I'll keep on pulling on that one. Now, you can also, I'll show you using the Posca pen. Just got this new red one, so I'm going to use that one. Okay. And basically, with the Posca, you know, you just have to touch down on the surface. And you just kind of make whatever patterns you want. I'm just kind of alternating the line here. And you really don't have, I've primed the pen, so I really don't have to touch it down that much. So I have a thin layer of paint down, of course, and paint really isn't transferring onto the nib because I really primed it good. But when you're finished, before you put the cap on and pull, you can just press down like that and just clean your nib so that you get a little bit of that paint off. Okay, let's pull this. So, I mean, you could just have wild abandon with making these papers. For sure. You just make as many sheets of rice paper, mark making on your rice paper as you want, and then just have your stash. So when you're collaging and working, you have stuff ready to go. I have lots of ideas for this. This is just one of the ways I'm going to use them. I'll be staining them and printing some of my various techniques on them. Like the 𝐈𝐍𝐷𝐄𝐒 would be beautiful on these. Oh boy. You can just make some of the best thin paper. And you really get a good pull. So you'll see some of the black came off underneath, but I'm okay with that. It just adds interest to the print. That's a pretty print. With that champagne behind it. Oh, I like that. And what I'm going to do, because there's still some red down there, let's go ahead and pull some. On our waste sheet here. It's a good one to build stuff up on because then you can definitely I'll go ahead and roll off on this because I want to get this thinner. That way I get a better pull. So might not build up on top of this, but what's cool too is that you can tea and coffee stain this and get a whole nother kind of look to your waste sheets here. So we're gonna put this down. Try to get most of that cleaned off the plate. And then I think I'll go back to my brush. So just, sharing some ideas around this this paper. I'm loving it. I'm watching this, looking at this as this dries. I mean, just look at that. I mean, that's just good. When you go to put this down, it's going to basically disappear over top of whatever you're gluing it down on, especially if you use like a PVA. If you use a glue stick, it doesn't go as transparent as if you use like a wet glue, like a PVA, and then it'll really just suck down and look very transparent. Oh yeah, so that cleaned the plate nicely. So we got that pool. So we'll be able to use this, and the plate is nice and clean. So let's do this again. You can see I'm just sticking to this as my base color because I like the way it still has a very neutral, and it doesn't take away from the background of the mulberry paper. Okay. Mark making. What would be mark making without circles? I love my circles. And just with the tip of the brush, get these very elegant, thin circles. So put this down. And we'll get our waste paper. Put that down. Always remember to use this waste paper. You'll be sorry, it'll smear otherwise. So the Poscas work beautifully. The fluid paints and inks work beautifully. In fact, I'm gonna try. Let's try the 𝐈𝐍𝐷𝐄𝐒. I'll get a different brush for that. I'll just use this one, watercolor brush. Okay. Oh yes, lovely. Lovely. I especially like when you get that bleeding, like those early ones. I love the way they bleed. But we're getting some really good papers here. So let's clean this. I don't have a transparent white. I had a white that was a little more transparent. We could put that down too. But I think all of mine are pretty solid. Oh, you know what we could use? Let's try our quinacridone. I know many of us swooped a lot of it up, so it's probably on its way out. But hey, continue to use it. I've been looking around because there's other companies that make it, like Holbein makes it. And I have some of it, and I'm telling you, it's very, very like the Goldens. It's the one other company. And I was researching to try to see whether or not they were discontinuing it. And it looked like other people had asked it, but I couldn't get a conclusive answer if it was being discontinued. Any of you know if the Holbein is discontinuing the quinacridone? Because it is, I'll show you the bottle. It is a good one. Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is a nice. See, so your secondary papers are just as good as the rice paper one. So you get two good pulls with this. But here is here's the quinacridone. This is the Holbein, Holbein. I guess it's Vine or BN. But yeah, let me know. Those of you who are good at sleuthing. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of this quinacridone down. Just want a thin layer. It's just going to be really nice on this paper. Need a little bit more than that because I want it to kind of still be a little wet while I use the fountain pen ink. Is definitely going to be, should be a lot looser, but that's good. I'm hoping to get a little bit more bleeding. See how it's welling up on the plate. So we should get a nice kind of a pool that's really going to bleed, which is what I want to see it do. Let's see what we get. So this is the fountain pen ink. Hopefully I have enough quinacridone down there that it is still a bit wet. Yeah, it looks like it's going to pull it. So you can really kind of, you know, really put pressure on this paper. It's a strong, even though it's thin, it's a strong paper. Now, it's not tear resistant, of course, but I'm finding it really holds up to pulling on this plate. I'm not really having a lot of problem with it, and it is still doing a decent job of pulling the paint up as well. Sometimes when you use the thinner tissue papers, you don't get as much off the plate. You get some, but sometimes the pulls can be a little disappointing. But this is just grabbing it all. Oh, look at this. Yes, 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 yes. That's what we're talking about. Look at that. Isn't that good? Oh, look at, we like that. Yes, we do. Let's do that with, let's see, you know what? Because there's color down here. Let's see what pulls up. Be surprised. Like, it won't look like there's a lot on the plate. Then when you go to pull it up and clean it off, I have a piece down here that has like red marks on it. Let's just use that. It all counts towards something. See how much we clean off the plate just to see what was left behind. So yeah, this golden, I love it. But this one is really good too. So, I'm almost out of this as well. But I have a couple more bottles. These were given to me. One of my patrons sent me an envelope full of those. And I was tickled. I love them. Okay. Oh, see? Look at what's left down there. It doesn't look like it would have been much, but it's this really cool ghost print. You see that? Look at that. That's good stuff. And even with the red, printing over the red like that is good. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the champagne again. And we're going to put the champagne with the fountain ink here, the 𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐿. Get a nice smooth surface here. Get our brush. Love it. Well, interestingly enough, my memory card got full right in the middle of me getting ready to put this paper down. So it's been sitting there a few minutes while I had to change the memory card. So let's just see how well it does having sat there for a while. Oh, it's coming right up. This paper is divine. Oh, and I love this color. Okay, so as soon as I was pulling it, my battery died. And it's funny, when I changed my memory card, I thought, maybe I should change my battery. But then I thought, I don't want the paper down there too long, and I should still have enough on it. Well, I should have followed my instincts, right? But anyway, look at this. And I like that bit of gold around the edge there. Oh, I love this. The way this is reacting on this paper is just premium. So then it had me thinking about, let's clean this. I really seem to be into getting this clean up. Let's get some more paper. What I know about being able to clean this plate, because I can see there's stuff down here. And the beauty of it is, I'm going to do a little bit of champagne and a little bit of the goldens. Sort of, I mix them together oftentimes. And let's get this one going first. Is that these really do well as being coffee and tea stained. These what seems like ghost prints, but with the ink, the plate gets activated, and so there's way more color down there than what it looks like. And so this layer lets us clean it. But what I want to do now, I've got a couple more ideas, so hang in here with me. What I want to do. So any fountain pen, any of this sort of liquid fountain pen ink you have, I think would just work beautifully. I also have this ink here that one of my students at my last workshop made. It's called Avocado Pink. Her company she calls Spring Valley Ink. She's out of California. Oh my God, this stuff is so good. Let's play with this on the plate. I'll be carrying her product. So in my first Friday sales, which the next one is actually going to be in November. It won't be October, but November. I'll have some of her paints in there, but they're bespoke, so they're limited supply, but I love them. And the more you guys show interest in them, the more she can make and, and share out. So we're going to do this avocado, but let me clean my brush as much as I can here. And I want to, what was my idea? I wanted to, oh, I know. I was going to do, let's get the champagne. I just wanted to see what this color was going to look like on here, because any of your botanical inks, bespoke inks, any of those are going to be great for this process. So let me shake this up. Okay. See what this does. I'm going to do some mark making. My scripting. This is avocado, cloves. Just kind of getting some drops around. Okay. So let's get some of our, mulberry paper. Put this down. And our waste paper. See what this does. This is a different, so this is a botanical ink, so it's bespoke. It's different formulation than the fountain pen ink. Of course, the fountain pen ink is designed to be a little bit more stable and what have you. But this is, and it smells divine. It's avocados, water, gum arabic, and clove. Oh, it's such a pretty color. And when you're using it with other stained papers and what have you, good. So this is Cindy's work. Oh my goodness, this is good. Oh, this is so pretty. Look how subtle. This is gorgeous. It's not even dry, so it's kind of hard to see, but I put it on an angle so you can see it without the reflection. But look at that. Can you imagine oh, what am I even thinking? Doing collaging with that. So that's a winner. Okay, so this will be our last pull. As you can see, we'll be here all day if you hang out with me, because I am excited about this new find. So I've been wanting to make this, and like I said, I'm actually doing some production with rice. Well, I'm starting to work on designs and stuff. But I wanted to get something that would mimic it, that I could actually start practicing and doing some stuff with it. But this is good. So let's see. Let me see. Let's go back to this. Really want to get this to do this. Look at that. Get a fine. You know, pattern on there. Oh, that's good. So let's grab another sheet. We can just go on and on and on. I can't say that I know what the right and the wrong side of it is. It does feel like one side is a little smoother than the other side. So I'm putting the smoothest side down with the idea that with these papers, it has a tendency to suck down and get a better pull, but it's very subtle. So you have to almost kind of just feel it with your hand. One side feels a little nubbier than the other. So do this one, and then we'll come back and we'll look at all of them. These are just so pretty. I'll have the link for this paper below. It's not really expensive. I don't remember how much it was. Maybe it was $12, $14, but I think there was 50 sheets in it. So if you want to play around with this, you can. And I know a lot of times there's like, I'm suggesting papers that I'm using or that I found work. Now you may find substitutes out there. You may find things that are cheaper. Please do have at it. If you have success with it, let me know. But I can only vouch for the papers I'm using, because I find I can buy papers that I think are similar to others, and then when I go to use them, they don't necessarily do the same thing. So yeah, you know, but experiment, because I am all about experimenting. That's my thing. So I always support trying different papers. And oh, this is gorgeous. Look at this. That is just, look at that. That's just divine. Oh, look at that. The bleeding. And if you could look at it like this, you see what it looks like there. It's very dimensional. It's kind of hard when it's like this because the light is shining on it, but you can really see the dimensions and the way the eye is picking it up when I do it on an angle like that. Wow, 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 wow. So let's pick up this last bit here, because that's going to be a you know, ghost print. We're going to pick it up on our copier paper. And then I'll come back and I'll show you everything dry. There we have it. Definitely using more of these. I really like making contact with the plate, with the patterns, and get that bubbling that happens. And then in this paper, it absorbs it really nicely. I mean, as this is drying down, you'll see it all, but look at this, how pretty that is. On this sort of gold paper, and it's still wet, but oh, so good. I noticed also that ink, it becomes darker as it dries. So, oh, look at this. Yes, 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 yes. There we have it. Our last pull, which was a nice cleanup pull. But I will be back with my desk all cleared off, and we're going to look at our papers nice and dry. So I'm back for the reveal. These are the papers that I made before I came on camera. I'm just getting my plate started. So this is one of my, here we are, scripting ones, which I'll be doing more. The paper was already torn. I had already accidentally torn it, but it didn't tear on the plate. None of these papers tore on the plate, but I still can use this and plan on. So this is another one on the rice paper, and this is our cleanup sheet. Oh, and this was my cleanup sheet for this one. I really like the cleanup sheet. I mean, that came out nice as a print that I can keep on working on top of. So that's that. And then this is the first one that we did. I didn't do a cleanup sheet of this one. I don't think there was a lot left. Oh, much didn't come off. That's right. So we have this. And these are the circles, which are our rice paper. And you can see how even like this, you can start seeing through it a bit. Maybe it's kind of a little far away, but. And this is the cleanup sheet for that. So this is the ghost of that pull. So you get 2 good pulls out of this process. And I would take and definitely stain these and then, you know, rip them up and they would be used. This is with the red Posca. I love it. I love that red too. On that champagne is really pretty. And this is a cleanup sheet. This makes me sing. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And even like I'm seeing here where I would pull it even on just the paper, because even without the paint down there, look at that. That looks good. And this is a cleanup sheet. Here it is with the fountain pen ink, the 𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐿. And this color is 𝐏𝐻𝐎𝐋. It's sort of a blue. It's like a typewriter blue or something. It's really pretty, like a midnight blue. And that's the cleanup sheet using quinacridone and the champagne. It's pretty. This is the sheet using that ink, that avocado ink and cloves. It's just gorgeous. It's so subtle, but just really pretty. And I can see working papers like this together, you know. Oh, this is good. And then this is our last pull on the rice paper. They just get better and better. Oh, and then this is the cleanup sheet, which is really great. I mean, you could just use this so beautifully and easily. So there we have it. All of our papers today using the this brand. I'll make sure that I have it listed below. And this is mulberry paper. Very similar to what is, you know, considered traditional rice paper, but just to be clear, right, it's not made from rice. It's not even made from the rice plant. It's made from 3 different bushes, 𝐏𝐻𝐎𝐿, 𝐏𝐻𝐻𝐿, or Mitsumatsu. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with this. I'm sure you're off and running already because we're in chat, and generally you all start, you know, working and painting even while we're talking. Thank you for everybody who hung in here with me and saw everything to the end and was able to see all the great papers that we made. I encourage you to make some. And if you enjoyed the video, please thumb it up. If you're new to the channel, hit the bell and hit all to subscribe, and you'll get the notifications. You can come in to Premiere and chat with us. We chat from all over the world. And yeah, all the links for everything will be below. And that's everything until next week. Love you guys. Happy creating. And just have the best week possible coming forward, you know, and fun in the studios and all that good stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.